in the dais, who is elected, newly elected. Earlier he was also our your president. Esteemed Ashok Agralji, newly elected General Secretary and Vice President, Working President, and Divya Ranjan, who is the Reception Committee Secretary, is well known to me, and all delegates from all over India, and some friends from Odisha now who have joined this delegated session. I am happy to know that during this 2 days deliberation, it was a fine deliberation. It's a privilege really that parents from all over the country, they have shared their opinions on divergent educational scenario across the country. Problems of the schools and the teachers and the burden of the parents are not same. Educational burden of a parent sending a child in Delhi or Bombay or any metropolitan city is much more costlier and burdensome than I send a child in Puri. Private schools, it has been a mushrooming growth, and there has been I cannot use this word mania, but there has been a trend among the middle class, upper middle class, and sorry to state, a section of teachers those who are serving in the state-funded educational institution, including my state, who are sending their children to the private schools. Thanks to the judgment given by Allahabad High Court, who in their judgment expressed their displeasure that government employees are not sending their children to government schools. This is very contrast and contradictory position that we draw our salary from government exchequer, but we send our children to the private schools. The resultant message is that we certify that our schools are substandard and the private schools are better. So we have a dual rule, I can say dual phases, two phases. We have a one phase in deliberation and discussion, in the streets, in the movements, in our political organizational language, in the streets of the Delhi, while you protest against the government policies, and when you demand that we want state-funded schools, we want better salary and service conditions, but the same sections of teachers and the same sections of officials, those who work in the education department, they opt for their children to be in the private schools. Unless this is a contradictory position, it's not sorted out. I mean say, those who are working in the public sector, they have the responsibility to save the public sector. We have to save ONGC, we have to save LIC, we have to save our public sector banks, also the state-funded schools. If state-funded schools has to be strengthened, it is not simply by fulfilling the vacancies as AIPA as a result. As AIPA has resolved that all state schools must conform to the RT rules, the reverse is the government must also conform to the conditions what the government has laid down. And you might be seeing in one chapter in the National Education Policy on the question of assessment and accreditation. Government has clearly come out with the two different standards of assessment and accreditation. One standard of assessment accreditation for central schools, schools under the central government, and other standards of assessment and accreditation for the state-run schools and the private schools. These two standards, two assessments, will further perpetuate discriminatory education standard and the school system. Thanks to AIPA, which has taken the decision that said there should not be multi-layer schools. That means you have returned to the legacy of Kothari Commission, which had proposed the common school system. I congratulate you all. The struggle for the common school system, which is still on our agenda throughout the country, and that agenda needs to be fulfilled. And the more common school system is strengthened, the more discretionary practice will be abolished, and the more the people who are underprivileged and those who are marginalized, those who are scheduled castes and scheduled tribes, those who are in the backward areas, both socially, economically, a sense of social democracy then will prevail if the common school system will be there. It is not the educational system, as Ambedkar has told. We had a political democracy, but we do not have the social democracy. And if social democracy is to be reflected in the education, in our educational life, in the life of our children, the common school system is a must, and it must be guaranteed, it must be strengthened, and it must be constitutionally, it should be mandated, and acts should be amended accordingly that common school system should evolve and it should be strengthened. I should not take more time. I had 3 suggestions when I came from home. What shall I suggest for you? And this is your 3rd national conference, and it is of the parents. There are 3 stakeholders in the education: the students, the teachers, and the parents. You represent as parents, and some of them also teachers. Yes. And you had your deliberation, your discussion, your debate. And in the debate and discussion and deliberation, which is a part of the democracy, it is a part of democracy. We have not, I can again recollect one, because I have fond for MS Namrutpat, irrespective of the party ideology. Once he said, democracy does not mean, federalism does not mean at the center, at the state, and autocracy and bureaucracy at the ground. We have autocracy and bureaucracy at the district education level. We have autocracy and bureaucracy in the block education level. But we talk about democracy only at Delhi, at Bhubaneswar. No. The federal structure and decentralization of power, that must be everywhere. I request you, and I will give one suggestion. How far you will accept me or not, I do not know. AIPA should be further widened to make an alliance. There is a political alliance in this country, National Democratic Alliance. Now we have India Alliance. There is UPA, United Progressive Alliance. During the Buddha time, there is a unified, that is called United Democratic Alliance Front. There is a left front also. we should have an alliance in our social life, furthering the social democracy. Let us have an alliance, national alliance against commercialization, national alliance against commodification of education, national alliance against communalization of education, national alliance against all sort of privatization. And for that purpose, I will request esteemed Agrawalaji and other your dignitary office bearers to make a platform of teachers, parents, and students. If that national alliance will be developed in each state, in each block, its voice will be reflected in the parliament. The parents alone does not bear the brunt of the privatization and commercialization. Parents suicide, so also the students. Parents bring the loan from the bank, and it is their sons and daughters, they bear the burden. So burden does not confine to the parents alone. It is to the future of our country, our students, and so also the teachers. So I congratulate you again for you have come here. I have not given any substantial cooperation or help to make your conference success. Whatever possible, that is a lip service. I have coordinated with Pradeep and Divya. They wanted that their conference will be here. I asked them any sort of help, and they have arranged everything. In future, when AIPA will have its national seminar, or in conference, or in convention in Odisha, even in advance, we are giving any information for any help, for any cooperation. We combinedly, the students and the teachers, we have a democratic front, we have a democratic organization. We can come together. We need yours and hope your resolution for strengthening the state-funded educational institution, for protection and preservation of RT, and for all constitutional goals, the morality, the biggest morality, the highest morality, what we talk of RT, that is called NP. There is more talk about in the NP about ethics and the morality. The highest morality that is already elaborated, enumerated, explained beautifully in my constitution, that is constitutional morality. Let us uphold the constitution, let us uphold the right to education, let us uphold the public funded education, let us uphold and protect the future of our children, future of our country. With these words, again I congratulate you and I am indebted because you have invited me to give the valedictory speech. Thank you.